Hi, welcome back. It's Neil with neilsvideos.com, back looking at the TownStar game from Gala Games website. This is my second major game. I had a few where I lost and had to close everything down, but this is my second major attempt at this game. And I picked the river this time just thinking that that might give me some more water for like these crops over here. So let me describe to you what my thinking is this game of things I totally messed up on the first game. So I will recap things that I've talked about in previous videos, but hopefully this will be shorter and to the point. Number one is I picked a town that's not very far away. So my truck actually delivers in under a minute, which is really cool because the last game I was like 3.5 minutes, or maybe it was 2.5, but it was quite a while. Now, the next thing I've done is I've spread out my items. Now, at some point, you're not going to be able to spread them out. There's so many compromises you have to make in this game. But right now at the beginning, I've got things spread out so that like when these windmills run, they run fast. Last time I had all my windmills side by side, and the runners might be able to deliver the product faster that way, but then the windmill takes like 2 or 3 minutes or more. And now I think they're like under a minute or 30 seconds. We'll see in a minute. This time I tried to keep maybe some more ponds. If I need to sell more ponds, I can. But I basically started building flour as fast as I could with 2 windmills. And then after a few sales of that, I decided to build my barn over here and get some milk. And I think I had 1 milk sale so far. But now I just noticed an interesting thing was happening. I was stuck on 9 milk for a long time. And the reason was this warehouse only holds 20 items. So I think I had like 11 flour in here and 9 milk. And so every extra milk that was being created had nowhere to go. So as soon as I finish this video, the next thing I'm going to do is actually build another storehouse. So the point of that is if you have 2 or more products, you're going to need probably 2 storehouses, because getting it to balance exactly 10 and 10 is nearly impossible. And when you sell something on your truck, you have to have 10 of those items. So you could only sell the one that's in the lead here. So that's the first thing I'm going to optimize. I waited till I had a little extra cash from many sales of flour and 1 or 2, I think 1 sale of milk. And I started building my equipment over here for my refinery, which the refinery is going to go right here. So my plan here is this. So let me explain what I built already. I built the water in the windmill so they could start filling up the warehouse here, which they are doing. Let's check these speeds here while we're at it, while they're running. Up 6 seconds. It doesn't tell you how long it takes, but you can see they're green now. I should have caught it a little bit sooner. And the windmill's green as well, you can see. The water facility is next to 2 lakes, so it's pretty fast too. And anyway, my plan is to build the refinery here for now. And then what it's going to do is use batteries from the windmill and the water to make more petroleum and gas. And I have to do one at a time at first until I can afford more than 1 refinery. But then what I learned in the last game is I could put a water pump here next to the water and then a power plant. And then I think the water will also supply so many squares away, maybe a little less water the further away you get. But the water pump here might also supply the refinery here. And then I may or may not still need this water facility. So that's my plan for these 3 squares. So I actually kind of wrote that out on paper this time and did a little pre-planning. As far as my buildings, this is like going to be my industrial road. And I realize I kind of have some wasted space over here, but removing these stupid tree stumps costs, a lot of money, $15,000 to remove them. So there's always compromises in this game. So right now, I'm thinking ahead. If I build all my refineries here, then what is this space back here going to be used for? Because these refineries will create pollution. So I might have some dead space here, and I might have to reconfigure things later when I have more money. But that's the way it goes, right? I have my 2 logger houses over here, and this is my rancher house. And the rule is they have to be next to a road. So there's one road right there and it doesn't connect to anything. Now it'd be faster, like if I pave that road from here to here to here, obviously they're going to run faster on the road, but again, killing these tree stumps and getting them out of here is 15,000 each, and at the beginning of the game, you certainly don't have that much money. The last time I did the game, I kind of had my city divided into quadrants. For example, maybe over here was where I was producing my crops. Over here was the industrial side. Over here was like my windmills and my production. But this game is building out a little different, and I'm not sure exactly how it will go. So far, my animals and cows are here. The other thing I had to watch out for in the previous game was two things: shade and wind, what do they call it, wind blockage. So that's why you have to put your windmills so far apart and your wind turbine, because I believe it's 1, 2, like 3 squares or an L-shaped house or something like that will block the wind of your turbine or your windmills. So right now, see, I don't have any blockages. However, this windmill could be slowing down that water there because of shade. I mean that wheat field. So this windmill could be shading that crop. And maybe I could have put it out one more, but I wasn't thinking at that time, or I didn't have that crop there at that time. I'm putting all my crops as close as I can to marshes and water. And you can see they're not all optimal right now, but with my 3 farmers, my wheat silo here, my silo has never been hardly short. It's always like 15 to 20, or actually usually at 17 to 20. So even though these are not optimal, the wheat silo is being filled up. And just like before when I mentioned this thing here, this storage house, when I start another crop, like maybe sugar or brine, salt, I probably have to have another silo at that point. So at some point, as my city gets bigger, I may have to build windmills side by side, or maybe alternate or something, because again, it's just not an optimal world. You can't do everything the way you want. And your city is basically from this square here to here, I guess to there, and back to this corner over here. So you can see there now I got enough milk. So if I do a milk run, we'll clear that storage out, and I'll have room for flour on the next run. Like I said, I think I'm gonna have to build another storage house. Now milk, of course, sells for 22,500. No, sorry, click here. Milk sells for 40,000. So far that's my #1 crop. Or it's not a crop, but product. And watch how fast my truck goes. Since I'm so close to the city, this is so cool compared to my previous game. See over here, it's already kind of ticking down, and the truck goes, and I think it's going to be back in like 12 seconds. And that definitely speeds things along a lot. I mean, like a whole lot. So if you can be close to a town, that is super idea. Now, the other thing that saves you is your gas. So like when you start the game, you have 40 gas, and like some of the people say, when you get down to say 20, you need to start thinking about your refinery, which I'm starting to build over here. But since the city is only like 1 unit away and so close, it's only using 1 gas. I think the first game I played that I had to kill it, I had 3 units of gas to make 1 trip. And that kind of kills you pretty fast. So, you know what they say in real estate, location, location, location. Give you a good head start on your game. Now, one thing I didn't know for sure is, like, are the lakes and everything, ponds, similar or different, like the count of them on every type of forest? Like, this is still a forest, but I'm next to a river. Where the last game, it kind of confused me because my truck was over here and everything was like in the other direction, sort of. I mean, it still plays the same. But what I'm saying is I'm not sure the configuration of the lakes and ponds is the same or different on every city or town that you start or not. What else can I tell you? I got a couple ponds here just in case I think like the cows need some water. And I don't know what to speed that up next. If I add another wheat mill, if that'll, or feed mill, if that'll speed it up. Because you see my trowel was empty, so that's probably, yes, the next thing I'm going to do is add another little wheat mill there, or feed mill. And of course, eventually I'd like to get another barn and maybe put it here. But see, once I put a barn there, now it's going to maybe affect the wind a little of this windmill. So, maybe I should actually destroy the windmill and rebuild it over here or out here now that I'm starting to have a little more money. So that's the other part of the game, is if you build things and destroy them, you slowly lose money, but you might have to do that for the long-term version of your game to make things more efficient. So anyway, this is where I'm at on NealTown2, I'm calling it. My first one was just NealTown. So if you're following the series of videos, we'll keep following along with how well I do on this game. Talk to you in the next video. Hit like and subscribe if you're a TownStar fan. See you later.